Hey, Dad. What is up, son? Well, I have a new friend at school. Oh, I said, that's really cool. What's his name? Well, his name is Kasim. Oh, that's fantastic. Where is he from? Well, he's from Syria. Oh, really? Yeah, you know, he's one of these very poor kids who have been pushed away from their country. And he came to our school. And we're so happy at our school that we can learn about other cultures and help them to ease their pain. So I have decided to give him some of my T-shirts and give him some of my toys as well. And you know what? At Christmas, I normally get some money from you guys, but I'm going to give that to their family. So at least we can ease their pain a little bit. And I said, this is fantastic, son. I'm so happy that you're doing that, and I'm very proud of you. Currently, we're facing the largest humanitarian catastrophe in mankind. And I think we all in this room can do something about that and support whatever efforts big NGOs and organizations are doing. Please join me in welcoming Henry van Eegen from Mercy Corps. Thank you.
In 2011, Humam was shot in his arm. He did recover, and he was trying to get away from the Syrian regime because they wanted to conscript him into the army. Not long after that, he was shot again. Now his arm was really badly injured, and his friends decided to take him over the mountains in Syria to the border with Turkey, where an ambulance waited for him to take him to hospital. He had 8 surgeries in hospital and recovered. And in the 2 years after that, Humam tried to make a living, tried to find legal work. But he was totally lost and decided finally to pay a smuggler to take him to Greece, which he did. And when he arrived, he was exhausted and he was hungry and still had to wait another week in the harbor before going to a camp. You might remember that in March 20th, 2016, Turkey and Greece signed a deal. And the deal was such that anybody arriving after that date would be kept on the island and another destination would be found at some point. Actually, 26,000 people arrived after that date, and they were in so-called hotspots made for no more than 8,000 people. Today, more than a year later, there are still 14,000 of these same people sitting on the islands in Greece, totally in limbo and with no place to go. Humam was lucky. He arrived before the 20th of March, 2016, and went to Athens, where he joined another 49,000 refugees and went through the asylum process. Humam was successful and now works for Mercy Corps. The refugee crisis is indeed a crisis. It's 65 million people. You've seen it and read it. And these are people who have been trying to get away from conflict, from persecution. They are trying to get away from disaster and sheer poverty. 65 million people. That actually translates into 1 out of every 122 human beings on this planet. 1 out of every 122 human beings on this planet. We have a lot more than 120 people here in the room today. 11 million of the 65 million are Syrians, and half are children. That's a lot more children than there live in Holland at the moment. It's actually the highest number of refugees, and it is unprecedented in human history to see this happening. Europe too has been affected, and our politics has been affected by fear and compassion. But both are fighting for time in the media, in our homes, in politics. We all know the overcrowded boats, trains, pitted against the headlines of lost jobs, terror, and it's too easily conflated with the refugee situation of ordinary citizens. And many people ask me, well, so what can I do? And you see and you feel a sort of helplessness about what I, as a person, can do, or you feel that people are in fear. But that need not be the case. It is time to act. It is time to act for us in Europe. It's time to act for us in the world, to really look for more unity, tolerance, compassion, and prosperity. The travel industry actually has values very similar to the humanitarian community. We choose curiosity over fear, inclusion over otherness, interaction over isolation, and opportunity over impossibility. Their road is reluctantly chosen, but they are traveling nevertheless. And it is amazing to see actually that we have so much in common, you and I. If there is one ask I have of you today, it is to counter the dehumanization of refugees as the crisis is getting more protected all around us. We know in history in Europe what dehumanization has done and the consequences. So I ask you to see yourself in them and to use the lens as you approach your discussions on refugees in your homes, in your workplaces, and your communities. Half the world, refugees are children and young adults. They are tragedies unfolding, and at the same time, these young people inspire us. They inspire us with their enormous energy for resilience and determination. Indeed, they power our very belief that a better world is possible. Refugees encountered arduous and frightening journeys, yet they have navigated uncharted terrain in both geographic and metaphorical senses. They've made some tough decisions. They learned from their mistakes and learn new skills, risk assess, network, find solutions, communicate, and at the same time keep their eyes on the end goal. Aren't they the skills that employers crave to see in their own staff? Humam actually comes from Palmyra, and some of you may know it and have been there. He actually was in the tourism industry with his family. Their family owned restaurants and hotels and organized camel rides to the desert. As the crisis in Syria started, he was just about to go into graduate school into a study of tourism. Today, he is a phenomenal leader at Mercy Corps and spokesperson. And right here, he is speaking at a UN conference in Helsinki on the refugee crisis. The skills that he has learned in your sector, he is indeed using in our sector. And as I understand from the WTTC, the sector needs new talent and new partnerships. You need more both skilled and unskilled labor, and I can tell you, you can find them amongst these refugees. And with all the European fear that there's also lots of good things happening. In fact, in this city, the city of Amsterdam and the government of Amsterdam has started a project with housing for students and refugees where they are living together in houses of 4. And they are interacting together. And I think these vital initiatives really help us to lead our society to a more peaceful and prosperous future. Your companies, as global as so many of you are, can do the same. In fact, the support of the, this is going a bit fast. The support of the private sector has been extremely important for us, and that's because the support has often been flexible and strategic and different from traditional donors. Today we work with TripAdvisor, and they have been giving us pivotal help. We work with Airbnb, who have helped us by giving us points by which people who work for us in Greece have places to stay without huge costs associated with it. And as I understand, about 40% of the people here today actually come from the technology sector. Well, we work extensively with Microsoft. In Athens at the moment, we're setting up an IT hub where both Greek and refugees can really learn new skills and also find each other in that. We also have transferable skills that we give to them to get them ready for new jobs. And the new jobs is what they leave and need. So I leave you all innovative minds, with a thought from Humam himself. Refugees have lots of skills and a big will to work and create a new life. If they are only given a little support, they can do miracles. Let us turn crisis into opportunity. Let's make it happen, and let's make it happen together. I look forward speaking to some of you or all of you during this conference, and I really want to thank Phocuswright for the invitation and your time spent here. Thank you very much.